Hello, my name is Greg Dillon from the iTOO events team. In this 10-minute iTOO expert film, I discuss iTOO's hole-in-one cover. What is the iTOO hole-in-one policy cover? In simple terms, hole-in-one is a form of prize indemnity insurance. The policy covers the prize that is offered by an event organizer, a tournament host or a corporate sponsor, and even an individual in some cases. How it works is that the insured, the event organizer or charitable organization or sponsor, puts up a prize which perhaps may not be financially manageable from their own point of view. And so they decide to insure that value rather than put up the total prize value. We then offer the value of the prize being achieved through a particular outcome, as is the case for all types of prize indemnity. This can be skills-based in the case of a hole-in-one, or based on pure chance in the case of a lucky draw or wheel spin, and is based on a specific action or specific outcome involved. Ultimately, it is a risk transfer from the entity putting up the prize to us as the insurer, but significantly, the recipient here is the ultimate beneficiary. So why is hole-in-one an interesting risk at the moment? The re-emergence of events out of COVID has been interesting because golf was one of the first sports that could get into play, mostly due to the nature of the sport. Outdoors, away from big crowds, you could control the indoor activities of the people going into the clubhouse and so on. And as a result of this, the previous decline in golf numbers experienced across the country is now on the increase. And with that, event organizers have found that one of the best ways to get back into the event space has been golf days. Around that has been a request to spruce up the golf days by offering an exciting prize for a hole-in-one. And so we have been the recipients of that re-emergence of interest in golf. We feel that this will continue for some time, and therefore the product itself has got traction. So how is our product different from our competitors? Well, hole-in-one insurance is simply an offer to provide insurance based on certain criteria. However, our rating is highly competitive and we are gaining a good reputation in the market through the brokers who can get their policies efficiently. And the digital hole-in-one product will improve this immensely. So in terms of efficiency of service, they know that we are a go-to market on this. We also offer prize indemnity in the golf environment for putting competitions, chipping competitions, and we add in criteria for achieving an albatross or an eagle, which are two added value options that we participate in. But this is dependent on certain criteria, including the difficulty level of achieving that eagle or albatross. And so it's not something we do a lot of, but it is listed in our value adds. Important to note that these will not be offered on the digital platform initially and will be referred to me to consider on a manual underwriting basis still. It's difficult to differentiate us because it is what it is and often comes down to what price people are willing to pay on the limit that they want to offer. So if an event organizer or sponsor feel that they can't afford the premium for a particular value of prize they want to offer, then they tend to bring the prize value down because they can't really eliminate players or change the distance. They've got to play with the limit and therefore the premium that they can afford. So who would clients approach in order to get cover? Again, the insured is normally the event organizer or tournament host, and they would request the cover through a broker, and the broker would then place the cover with us. Having said this, iTOO deals directly with the winner when there is a claim, and we will pay that person directly. Obviously, once the verification has been checked and after our claims team has been satisfied that all the requisite criteria have been fulfilled. So what would clients need when taking out the policy? This product is especially friendly for the digital environment. Since there is not a lot of criteria that we require on the proposal form, it's actually relatively simple and straightforward. The basic information that we need includes the golf club, the number of the hole that will be used, and the stroke of that hole. The stroke determines the difficulty for those that don't know. Most importantly, the underwriting criteria are driven by three main facts. The one, as I've said, is the limit, which is the prize value and what the prize actually is, be it cash or a car or a gift of some kind. Remember here, there is a VAT implication, and so the insured needs to be considerate of whether the car, for example, has been charged with VAT. The second is the distance to the hole, because the further away from the hole, the harder it is, and therefore we rate it accordingly. And then finally, the number of attempts, the number of people participating in the golf day, ensuring that the participants abide by the minimum distance requirements. So what are the subjectivities of the covered? Let's talk about that some more. Hole-in-ones are skill-based, which means that you must hit a ball from a particular distance into a hole on the green. In order for the cover to respond, the participants need to abide by the subjectivities, which means that an individual can't have more than one attempt, can't have a practice shot or a mulligan. The tee positions have to be set up at a particular distance, the minimum of 150 meters for men and a minimum of 130 for women. No favorable pin positions are permitted. In other words, don't make it as easy as you can. Rather, ask the golf club to make it a little bit more difficult by placing the pin behind some kind of obstacle, such as water, a bunker, a grass mound, etc. And there can't be specially prepared greens, although that isn't generally the case. One of the key criteria that I have not made mention of yet is the distinction between professional golfers and amateurs. And we exclude professionals in the iTOO hole-in-one insurance product that we offer. There have been one or two exceptions, but we have underwritten those separately and outside of the normal criteria. But this product is aimed entirely at amateurs and is therefore rated according to an amateur player and their skill sets, as opposed to a professional. The verification is also an important aspect in hole-in-one. Because it is difficult to film the hole-in-one without proper photographic equipment, we say that you can film or video on a cell phone, for example, both from the tee and from the green. The two independent witnesses can video with cell phones from the tee and the green so as to confirm the date in a timestamp video, as well as the person that achieved the hole-in-one. You can also record the reaction of the people in the four-ball, the people standing by, and that individual has collected their ball from the hole. Ask them their name, let them confirm the golf day, the time and the date is also very helpful when it comes to claims time. Another requisite is that the golf club issues a letter from the director of golf or the head professional to confirm that the hole-in-one was indeed a hole-in-one. And if there are some concerns at claim stage, I too might ask people to attest to an affidavit if needs be. So who would benefit from the cover? The recipient is obviously the person who achieves the hole-in-one, but they are not necessarily the insured and never normally are. The insured is generally the event organizer or the tournament host. It's really an advertisement for the event. To give you an example of this, we recently had a golf day for a school as a fundraiser. They were battling to get the number of players required to fill the field, as we call it, and by putting up the prize, they suddenly gained a lot of interest within their community, and they went from nearly 50 players to 98. So initially we had a request for a hole-in-one for 50 players, which is our minimum requirement, but the request subsequently went up to 98. So it acts as an advertisement. It's a hook, and it has the ability to draw people in the hope that they would achieve this and win a hole-in-one, and they would then be the recipients of a big chunk of money. So let's walk you through a typical example of a hole-in-one event. I'm holding a golf day for a consulting company, and I want to put up a 50,000 Rand prize. And there's my first criteria, the prize value. I tell you that it's 120 players participating at a particular country club. We're using the third hole, which is stroke 9, and it will be 175 meters for the men and 135 meters for the women. and more than that, we don't really need. So we've captured all of that into a digital product environment. It really is a few clicks, and we will then provide a premium requirement on that. So how does a person access the digital platform? So the white label product will be driven through the broker network, which will be sent to the client via the broker. The broker will have an individualized token so that there is recognition from the client side through their broker to the platform and into iTOO. But the interaction is almost directly taking place between the client and ourselves, which allows for an almost complete exclusion of the backwards and forwards of emails and proposal forms and so on. So a client can literally just log onto the platform at night and while we're sleeping can actually request, receive and pay for the quote and be issued a policy all before the golf day takes place. It is made live through the system once the payment or proof of payment is issued. So it's a simple matter of going through the link process, populating the criteria that we need, get a response, accept the quote, pay for it, and then a policy is issued. So what are the things that clients need to remember about the hole-in-one cover? That we as iTOO events are open for business in sport and golf in particular. We are sporting and event people, and therefore we understand the client's needs and appreciate the nuances that come along with these kind of things and any little concerns that they may have. For example, it's not always easy to have two independent witnesses at a golf day because you're taking people out of the office or you're having to pay extra to have witnesses present. And we understand the complications that come along with it. We are also helpful when it comes to helping people structure these things. Not everyone understands the game that well. Not everyone is aware of certain things that we sometimes take for granted. And so we're always open to guide. And I do this all the time. If I don't have 4 or 5 conversations a day with different brokers about golf, it's unusual. So we aren't just providing the insurance and saying, good luck, get on with it. We're actually providing a bit of a consultative approach to how they get that structured and what is sometimes the best way to actually do this. We are working with quite a few golf-centric brokers who are guiding and gaining more traction with clients and golf clubs along the way. So why would a person choose iTOO? You want an expert by your side. There's openness to our underwriting approach, and we are solution orientated in the way that we do things. We provide our clients the freedom and security to realize their goals by sharing in their financial risks in times of major uncertainty. For more of our 10-minute iTOO expert films where we discuss iTOO products and services, please explore itoo.co.za. Thank you.